I came at the age of 15, and it was time to leave. And I didn't want to go back with I loved my mother to death, but I didn't like my mum's lover or boyfriend or whatever. Name is, well, he's dead now, Patrick. And, okay. And I didn't like him. He was Irish, you know. No, I haven't got anything against Irish, but he was violent. Yeah. And he beat me up one night because he thought I'd screwed the gas meter, which I didn't. Screwing the gas meter is that I emptied the gas meter. So I thought, right, I was 15 years old, £3.10 in my pocket, and I ran away on a train up to London. I ended up in Paddington, and in those days there were lots of little guest houses, you know. So I told this guy that I was an orphan. I know it's bad, but just to get a room. So he gave me a room, and I think I had about £1 on me at the end of the day. And I told him I was being picked up by some French nuns. To seriously, I did. That sounded better, actually. So the next day, I thought I didn't go to breakfast, but I noticed that every room had a gas meter. So I screwed all the gas meters in the place. You can edit that out, actually. So I've been painting all my life, right? From the age of 6. So anyway, when I left home, I ran away. I joined a circus, you know. I was an elephant groom for 2 years, painting. I was painting on all sides of the trucks and doing the sign writing. I did that, but I had enough, so I thought, right. I spent 2 or 3 years. I was 16, 17, nearly 18 years old. I got to London. I thought, well, I can paint. So I went looking for old canvases because I couldn't afford new ones. And I spotted some canvases, and I went back to my little Crickerwood attic and started knocking out pictures of Nelson and shipping scenes and anything old, aging them, faking them up down Portobello Road. And you notice I've got a guitar in the corner there. I started playing the guitar, and I thought, my God, I only know 2 songs. So I had to keep moving all the time just because everybody had heard my song. And then one day, the guy came up to me and he went, "Oi, mate," he said, "you do the same songs every week." I said, "I know." He said, I said, "You haven't put any money in the bin, so on your bike." And then the next day, this guy came up to me and he went, "Where'd you get your pictures from?" I said, "I did them." He went, "Nah, you retouched them." I went, "No, I paint them." And he was the first dealer I met. And he said, "Have a coffee with me afterwards." Said, "And I'll buy all your pictures." So I thought, well, that's great. So anyway, we met. He was an antique dealer, but he was a bit of a con man. And we started faking up paintings. I was getting better and better. I was doing Samuel Palmer's. And I was pretty good. I could fool anybody. So I stayed with him for a year, and we were, like, he was older than me. I was 18, he was about 45. But we went as father and son. So what we used to do, we used to buy what we call a lot of pot boilers. Pot boilers are old pictures that no one would buy. And then we'd have about 10 of those. But in there we would throw in a goodie, like a fake, right? So it might be a Samuel Palmer, it could be a shipping scene. And then we'd go to the auction rooms as a father and son. And we would say, this is how we, as an act, we look like antique dealers. And I go, "Morning, sir." And he'd go, "Morning." And when you call them sir, these officials in these auction rooms, they love it, like, "You know best, John." And I go, "Got some smudges in the car, so do you have a look for me?" And he went, "Pardon?" "Smudges, like paintings, like." And he went, "Yes, of course we will, bring them in." So he used to flick through them and think, no. Oh, then he'd stop. He'd stop at the Samuel Palmer or an old shipping scene by Albert Derby. And when he'd go, interesting. And we go, "What's that?" He said, "There's painting here." He said, "Oh, that with the boats on it, sir." "Oh, right, Jones." And he said, "Yes." He said, "Who's it by?" He said, "Albert Derby." I said, "Was he any good, sir?" He went, "Yes, he was a Norwich school." And I said, "Was it painted in Norwich?" He went, No. Norwich School of Art, No, "Oh, so you know best, sir." "But we don't know, do we, Dad?" So, it's all okay. And you go, no. And then, this is the naughty bit. This is where I used to get trouble. We used to go to the auction rooms and we would ring it. He'd be at one end and I'd be at the other, and we would bid for it. We'd stand next to the picture, knowing that it was only 2 weeks old, and it was dated 1780. So anyway, Tom would be giving me the nod, and then it starts at 500-600, we'd be boom, boom, he would go, somebody else would come in, and right at the end of the day, you'd get up to about 4,000, right? And he'd give me the nod, I'd scratch my nose like that, and he'd pull out. But then the guy who bought it that day went, I'll never forget, he was a Persian guy, and he went, "I'm so sorry, my friend, you did not get the picture." I went, "Well, Gov, you win some, you lose some, so that's the name of the game." There you go. And then it just carried on, me forging, and then I got nicked, and then it's about sort of all right up to where I am. Chris Ellis from The Bill, Burnside, the actor. I met him in Canterbury when I was living in an old derelict pub in 1970, and I rented rooms to him. He was at the Marlow Theatre, and we befriended each other, and I met him at Bernardo do in the Metropole in Brighton, because I'm a Bernardo boy and I support them big time, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Well, I don't think Bernardo's wanted me to go out and be a forger, I'm sure of it, but that's life. But Chris Ellis, his son, is called Lewis, and he is a director of documentaries. So we did this about a year ago. Now everybody is asking, where's the film, where's the movie, And honestly, Charlotte, I never thought it'd go that much, but I am happy now. I'm never going to go back the forgery line, honest God, never. And I couldn't do it. I did a lot of time, when I say a lot of time, I did a lot of time in Ford Open, and I just don't want to do it again. People buy me now. I don't have to put Caravaggio or Banksy. I can put Max Brandrett on there, And and I met some wonderful people, but I'm not a villain. I'm not a nasty person. I've never take from anybody. I mean, I give more than I take. I've done a lot. I donate paintings to the Variety Club every year. I've made a lot of money for my Bernardos because I spent all those years, and honestly, Charlotte, I would not be doing what I'm doing now. Look at it. I live in this old... Look at that. Do you know what? It said in there, Max multi-millionaire. Multi-millionaire. Do I look like the television from the 1950s? Multi-millionaire? No. I like meeting people. I'm not worried about the money side. It doesn't bother me. I can earn good money. Not worried about it. Just good health and lovely people. Not fame. I mean, come on. I do like going on stage. I used to do voluntary teaching. In a group of 200 ladies. In the big halls, and I did that. I got paid for that, and it was a company called Entertainment Direct. So I did the Corn Exchange with about 150 ladies. You go down there and you find the first 7 rows asleep. You think, oh my goodness me. So what I used to do, I used to give them a glass of sherry, bless them. So, give them a glass of sherry, and I used to say, bring them up to the side of the stage with their paintings, and because I love listening to their stories, and it was all good.